Debate? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk, will you go down the list for the votes?
Berkeley,
Yes.
Mayor Burisma,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Zucchi,
Yes.
Councilor Hicks,
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor Diaz.
Thank you. Motion carries. And again, thank you to staff for all your hard work on this item. Item D, Community Center Gym Lighting. Consider authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with H2 Electric to replace 20 lights at the community center for $21,480.97. Madam City Manager.
So this item is very brief, but our community center will see a humongous difference. We received a bid, and this all stemmed from me attending the Fall Festival and couldn't figure out how to turn the lights off. It has had some little forked key that was about this big, and you were supposed to stick it in a slot and push the button down. Well, we only found out because we broke one of the things, and that's what we figured out how it actually worked inside there. It was the case of who could turn the light bulb. There was 4 of us trying to turn the lights off, and it took probably 20 minutes for us to finally get part of the lights off. So I had said to Shane, you know, this community center is pretty old. Can we do something different with these lights? Because it's just not working for me when I'm standing there with 4 people and we all can't turn the lights on and off. So he contacted H2, who said they could do it. What I wanted was them to just put dimmers on those switches so that we could just dim the lights, right? Well, that wasn't going to work. They said that the kind of lights we had wouldn't dim. And so then it was discussed, what could we do? So they actually found a solution, LED lights that are dimmable. And then they told Shane, if you don't make a decision today, we won't be able to get them in time for your next. So I called the mayor, discussed it with him. He said, do we have the money to do it? And I said, yes, we have the ARPA money we set aside. We were going to do a lighting project in the community center, but we had actually pulled that from our list because we felt like that there were lights in other buildings that were more important. And so we went ahead with the decision and put the lights in, and it's almost like day and night in there. You can't, it is amazing. You can see, they took out the old fluorescent and these are all round now, round LEDs, dimmable, programmable. I think there's going to be a remote we're supposed to have for them, but it hasn't come yet. I don't know where it's at. But there'll be a remote control, so that it is very nice and bright in there. Chief Lehman, you were there. Did you notice the difference?
That's a big difference.
Huge. So with that, I am now coming to make sure that everyone is aware of what happened. It's taking place. We've paid the bill and we've got the lights, but we still would like your blessing.
Council, let me add to that. I do apologize. I kind of overstepped my boundaries as mayor. I spoke on behalf of council without getting other opinions. I did inform the deputy mayor of where we were going with that, but this was a decision that needed to be made very quickly, and since it was ARPA funds that we had set aside for this type of project, I assumed, hopefully correctly, that council would be in favor of me making this decision. But again, I do realize that this is something that council has to make, and it's not the mayor, so I took a risk and spoke for council there. So if I must apologize, I do so, but it needed to be done within an hour or so. So any comments or questions from council?
I'm really appreciative of the fact that we, I don't know, is that on? Yes. Really appreciative of the fact of taking that rapid motion or, action to put the lights on, because we've had, since the Fall Festival, we've had the Thanksgiving dinner in the community center. We're now looking at having the Festival of Trees and a couple other events that are coming along after that. So, yes, it's really important to have some light on the matter. So I do know that the city manager did call and talk to me a little bit about it, just to keep everybody informed. I'm not sure who else got called, but nonetheless, I'm and supportive of and fully support your action on that.
Other comments from council? I will add that that two-pronged key for the switch was something that was really popular in the late 70s and 80s. Those mechanisms are wearing out and getting sticky. The keys have been used for many years and getting fragile sometimes. When I was first teaching, I had keys like that for my classroom, and if students ever got a hold of it, it was a guaranteed broken key. So I understand how that happens. But it was also time to upgrade. The old fluorescent lights are going the way of the dinosaurs, and we are encouraged by every agency that the government has to offer that we switch to LED lights. And so this is one step in the direction we were going to go anyway. So
You would get a rebate on it?
would be wonderful, wouldn't it? I'm not counting on it.
We will get reduced, cost, so it will help us with, the energy cost. Big difference. We'll notice that in our electrical bill.
Right, if there's no further comments, what is the desire of council on this item?
Move to approve. Second?
Motion by Councilor Hicks, second by Councilor Ripley to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with H2 Electric to replace 20 lights in the community center for $21,480.97. Debate on this item? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk.
Councilor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor Burisma,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tucci,
yes,
Hicks,
Yes.
Councilor Hart,
Yes.
and it's 5 yes votes.
Thank you, motion carries. And thank you too for not crucifying me on that one. Item E, Pacific Ag Interlocal Agreement with the Port of Sunnyside for financial commitment. Consider authorizing the city manager to enter into an interlocal agreement with the Port of Sunnyside for infrastructure improvements for the Pacific Ag project. Madam City
So this is an exciting one to bring forward to council. Exciting in multiple ways. One of them is that, last week we were awarded $7 million in grants for this project, correct?
So we received a total of $5 million from CURB and then $3 million.
$8 million. Right, that's better math than I had in my head. And so what this means for Sunnyside, and not just the city of Sunnyside or the port, this actually means that 500 acres of industrial development will be shovel-ready fairly easily with this project. We will then be the largest industrial development park in the state. And that's something we can really hang our hat on. And so that will mean a lot of good jobs will be coming to Sunnyside. And then I also recently talked to someone about another one of our properties that may be looking to put some middle housing, the missing middles that we seem to have here in Sunnyside. So there are things that are in the works where this project is going to open up kind of that big industry to coming into South of Sunnyside. So there is a little bit of commitment from some of our funds, but that would be your water, sewer, enterprise funds. But it is, the benefits are going to be huge for us. So this is an investment not only in getting Pacific Ag in there, but it's an investment in Sunnyside's future. So really encourage council to,
Council members, questions or comments for the manager?
Excuse me, but, wasn't there at some point there was an estimate on how many jobs this particular situation might generate?
I want to say this one is 65 jobs. It's not a ton of jobs, but it's enough jobs for us to be able to apply for that CURB grant. So that it is, and like I said, it's not just this that's going to come in. It's all the other stuff that's going to be able to go in and around it that's going to bring economic development.
Just briefly, it's not a ton of jobs, but the project as well.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Other questions or comments? A little bit expansion on some of the information. The part that's exciting to me is not just the Pacific Ag project, but it's the opening up of all that extra land. Once we get the infrastructure in place, it makes all that land available. And that leads to more than just the 65 jobs potential that would work at Pacific Ag, but also all the jobs that would come along with any other projects that's involved in that as well. And overall, that is going to be good for Sunnyside. And it's going to be, as she mentioned, the middle income housing needs, and there's somebody that wants to start putting more of that in. It just covers a lot of things for us, and it allows us to expand in a direction we know we were going to eventually, and this gets us started moving in that direction. On another note, Pacific Ag is a digester program. It's a manure digester to get methane gas, and I have had the opportunity to tour a facility like that and see it in different phases of construction over the course of the summer. And I'm thankful that they moved into the port from where they were originally intending to be, but the odor is negligible. It's really not there. And yeah, I was surprised to see that. There's really nothing there. The process is quite interesting. If you ever get a chance to take a look at the diagrams and how that whole thing works, it's fascinating. How that whole system goes with the plumbing and all sealed off, and there'd have to be an explosion for there to be any kind of an escape of odor. So I don't see that happening with manure supply. All right, any further questions or comments? Hearing none, what is the desire of council on this item?
I would move to authorize the city manager to sign the interlocal agreement with the Port of Sunnyside for infrastructure improvements for the Pacific Ag project.
Second.
All right, motion by Councilor Hart, second by Deputy Mayor Restucci. Already put to bed the whole thing, I'm not going to do it again. Debate on this item? Hearing none, Madam City Clerk.
Counselor Ridley,
Yes.
Mayor Burisma,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Restucci,
Yes.
Counselor Hicks,
Yes.
Counselor Hart,
Yes.
Mayor, there's 5 yes votes.
Thank you, motion carries. Item F, Lodging Tax Advisory Committee's 2023 Funding Recommendation, Part 2. Consider authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Yakima Valley Tourism and 509 Insanity for the amounts recommended by the LTAC in lodging tax funds. And this is the clerk who's in charge of this one. Madam City Clerk.
All right, so this is part 2 of the request. We normally just bring one, but Yakima Valley Tourism has submitted their proposal, and we wanted them to do a little bit more with the tourism package. And then also, they have some questions initially on the 509 Insanity ones that you see for $1,000. So they came back, answered some questions, and they came up with these amounts. The large one is Yakima Valley Tourism. They take care of our brochures, our travel guides, just tourism-related items. So those are the amounts there.
Council, any questions for the clerk? So those of us who have had the opportunity to serve on the LTAC committee have seen Yakima Valley Tourism over and over again. It's a fairly large number, and there's occasionally been some pushback against that one. I have looked when I get to different areas and see brochures and tourism information, and I do find our materials there. So it is getting distributed. Personally, after several years of the 509 basketball tournament, not getting all of their ducks in a row, I'm very happy to see them included and recommended for approval. I think that could be a real fun activity. And so that was kind of exciting to finally see that come all the way through. Other comments?
Mr. Mayor, going through with the helping out the Insanity 509, 509, excuse me, they really came through, and I think their projects are going to be pretty healthy as far as bringing people into town, restaurants, that sort of thing, families who play their various sports here. So I think that's a going to work out really well. I think also for the Yakima tourism, monies that we're going to be spending, I think we're going to get a better bang for our buck this year. We're, worked and looked over it several different times, the committee, and had a lot of questions and a lot of, trimming here and there to get the best spot. So I think this is a good package for the lodging tax money.
And is the 509 Insanity, are they gonna set up on the downtown streets like they do in Yakima, or are they gonna set that up somewhere else?
They are set up at the Sunnyside High School gym.
Kids have played on the 3-on-3 tournaments in Yakima, that was always fun.
For the high school right now, they did tell them if they want to work, they want. I'm not planning to work with like Super Mario, Sunshine Days, anything around those days.
Right. No more questions or comments from council? What is the desire of council on this item? Move to approve.
Second?
All right, motion by Councilor Hicks, second by Councilor Ripley to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Yakima Valley Tourism and 509 Insanity for the amounts recommended by LTAC in lodging tax funds. Debate on this item? City Clerk, will you please go down the list?
Councilor Ripley,
Yes.
Mayor Bergman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Tucci,
yes,
Councilor Hicks,
Yes.
Councilor Hart,
Yes,
Mayor Sunnyside, yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Items from council members. First item, mayor's appointment for boards and commissions. I don't have anything, I didn't see any emails about anything yet. Item B, council request status report.
And I'm gonna be really honest with you, I have not made any changes on that list. We've all been going, crazy. Trying to just get day-to-day work done, but I will, sit down and have staff go through this and get you some commitments.
All right, and council members, does anybody have an item to add to the request status report? Okay. I just do, encourage a little bit of movement on the noise ordinance. I'm getting a little feedback on, dogs. I don't know, is there an official place to call for citizens if dogs are barking uncontrollably?
I was gonna say, we contract with the Yakima Humane Society, and they do send a, animal control officer down a couple days a week. However, I believe their hours end at, so, they would follow up, you call the Humane Society, and they would follow up the next time. Officer who will respond to, typically the dog's outside, contact the owner, problem with any complaints, move your dog inside or find a solution. And then that will be referred to the animal control officer to follow up next time they come. Repeated offenses, they can receive it.
I typically get texts, or, generally, it's almost always text, but it starts at about 11 o'clock at night, and they've said that they've reported it to the police department, and there's been no response. So I'm just kind of curious if there's an official place where I can send people, please contact so-and-so. I don't know if they can send an email to the city. That's another way they can do that, but that's part of the noise issue as well. I know we've got the noise ordinance on there, and that's part of it as well. And then other people have been complaining about loose dogs running all over town. So I just know we have the Humane Society there, but their hours are limited, so.
Call the police department, they will create a call in our computer system that will pop up. Hopefully the next time the animal control officer's on, they don't always give us their schedule, but they can create, so maybe they're gonna come on at 8 o'clock on Tuesday, there'll be 4 calls that pop up at 8 o'clock, they'll call the animal control officer, say, we have these 4 complaints. go to them, and
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on, other reports, announcements, and/or questions by council. We'll just start at the far end of the table, Mr. Hicks. Ripley,
Nothing to report.
Ms. Hart.
Well, I'd like to comment on our Thanksgiving dinner that was held the weekend before Thanksgiving. It was an awesome turnout. My goodness, I think that's the most people we have fed in the times that we have been doing the dinners. Somewhere in the neighborhood of, I believe, 703 folks
Wow.
received a meal, a hot meal. Senior citizens, people who were shut-ins, and then those folks who came and brought their families to the community center, as well as those who took out to take home to eat dinner. And so it was really well organized. I had a lot of volunteers there. Was really impressed with the Sunnyside High School Key Club members. They were there for the duration. I want to also thank the Sunnyside police officer and the interim chief for being there with some of his officers to help with the serving of the meal, and also our recreation director, Mary Ramirez. And of course, in the kitchen, we had volunteers from the Sunnyside Lion Club, City Hall, and under the direction of City Manager Elizabeth Alba. It was a great meal. We had a lot of volunteers. We had a lot of people who donated food. We had the most amazing chef in Sunnyside cooking our turkeys, Roger Hazard, and we really just appreciate it. I know that the people, they all said what a great meal it was, and they were really appreciative. And I believe some folks even donated money so that those people who had large families wouldn't necessarily have to turn in $1. Some private businesses and so forth donated money towards that donation.
Actually, a grocery outlet showed up with $100, and they had actually donated a lot of the food. So not only did they donate food to give, they gave money to pay people's meals. And I think that we pulled a rabbit out of a hat on serving that many people, because when we did the math the day before, there wasn't enough food. So
Yeah.
it was almost the turning the, what is it, turning the
Water into
water into
Water
wine.
into wine.
Yeah.
Loaves and fishes.
Yeah, it really was. So it was pretty amazing. And it was also just pure blind luck that I happened to talk to Mary on Friday and then found out that you guys needed a chef. And so I ended up being in the kitchen.
Two of our main cooks in our Lions Club both came down with COVID at the last minute, and so we were scrambling a little bit, because they're really the ones who organized the Lions Club members to open the can of beans and stir up the stuffing and stuff. So yes, so thank you very much on that. It was a great meal, and everybody enjoyed it.
All right, thank you for that. And I too only heard good things about the Thanksgiving meal. I think that was a great idea. Continue that. I'd like to see that continuing forward. Community appreciated it. That was a good thing. And there's things I'd like to report on, but they all belong to the manager. And so I think I'm going to report on later on when her turn comes up. So upcoming council meetings. Manager.
I don't have the list with me, so. We'll have a discussion at the December 5th workshop on the National Opioid Settlement Fund. We have received word that we will get that money. We have to make it, how we will spend it, and on how it can be spent. And hopefully we can get that taken care of. And then December 12th, we have the official newspaper and the last final budget amendment for 2022. We hope we can get a meeting together for us to get this Amoresco energy savings done. We have scheduled it with our staff, 4 times now? Three. And we just can't seem to get that down. As somebody either gets sick or somebody can't make it. It just seems like it's not happening this year, but we want to. We will have a City of Sunnyside text amendment. Maybe,
We'll have a text amendment, series of text amendments for accessory dwelling units and some stuff.
And City of Toppenish Court ILA, we have that one in the review process right now. And then an ILA with Yakima County for this one that we have previously had, that basically, it was a bunch of stuff, lots and lots of internet things. Now we're scaling it way back, since we have 2 in-house IT people. They've looked through that list and said, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't pay for that. So it's helping us. Then we would like to request council's permission to bring forward canceling the December 26th meeting. That is normally what we do. And we also cancel the January workshop. So I just wanted to bring those forward and see if council that now or if we should do those in December.
Council, if there's no objection, there is no objection, we will then cancel the December 26th workshop meetings. So, enjoy a couple of nights off at department heads. I do want to point out one thing that's not on the December 12th meeting, and that is the budget, because we passed that tonight.
That's a record.
That's behind us.
We're done with that.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason I thought we were going to do that at the next meeting was because that's when we often have to do it, so.
Or call a special meeting because we
please
didn't
no.
get it done. Remember that year?
Yeah, we've done that too.
Hey, I have banged the gavel, Mr. Mayor. I have banged the gavel on December 31st at 10 PM at night, adopting the budget.
And I
Let's
am
not do
committed to
that.
not having to do that,
Not
Mr.
do
Deputy
that.
Mayor. Some honors I don't want to have. All right, item 6, items from department heads, Item City Manager.
Well, I'm going to start. Usually I let staff go first, but since my plate is full and not one of the people except for, I saw Ken at Walmart, and I was making a trip there, and I saw the chief at the community center because I had to sign something, but nobody else has seen the whites of my eyes because I've been fully engulfed at the community center trying to get vegetables trees on. So I'm going to give you a rundown of all the things we have going on this week. You can find this information on our website at Come to the Sun, and it's all there from the black and white, dates, times, and what have you. So Thursday at 6 p.m. at the gazebo will be our tree lighting. And I'm hoping that the mayor will be there, and we'll get to push the plug into the socket. You'll notice this week, and sometimes they don't come until Thursday, so don't freak out if there's nothing there until Thursday. But Sensi will be lighting the gazebo, and the tree will arrive. So you'll get a first glimpse Thursday of an unlit tree that's not remarkable, and then when it's lit, it will be pretty fascinating. 6 p.m. And then Friday begins the holiday bazaar that the Seroptimus put on. Is it Seroptimus? Seroptimus put on a holiday bazaar. That's at the mini mall, or the downtown mall. The regular mall, Mid Valley Mall. No, I didn't have any grandkids born or anything. I don't know what's going on with me.
You're busy.
You're busy, yeah. So they'll be there all 3 days, so starting Friday, and then they'll be there until Sunday. Friday, it will be at 6 p.m. is the Kids Lighted Christmas Parade. These are where the kids all get to light and go down 6th Street. We've ironed it out with all the parties involved. Everybody's got a map now, and we know where they're going to go and where we're supposed to be. This year, the Festival of Trees is that night as well. It starts at 7 p.m. and goes until 9 p.m. If you don't have tickets, there are still tickets available. Let's contact Jackie. She can get those. They are also available online. And if you go to Come to the Sun, there's QR codes for you to sign up. Saturday, downtown market from 1 to 4. So there will be vendors down there, people setting up for the announcers. We will be having Cherry FM is going to be live. I'm not sure. Lindsay told me a bunch of stuff today, and it kind of went in one ear and out the other because I was busy talking or doing something. But she's got a lot of really cool things planned. They are gonna have, pictures with Santa, downtown, so if you wanna get your picture with Santa. Then the Lighted Farm Intimate Parade begins at 6 p.m. So if you want a good seat, there are going to be bleachers set up downtown, and there's going to be some seating set aside for anyone that's maybe in a wheelchair or has limited access, because I know that's one thing we haven't had in the past. So there will be a spot that's set up for people that can't get in and out real easy, and it won't be as crowded for them, because everyone knows how crowded it gets. It's crazy. And then look for me. I will be Mrs. Claus in the parade, sitting next to Santa. So, if you see me, don't honk, especially if you're downtown, but at least yell, hey. Then, all day Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2, well, not all day, from 10 to 2, the Festival of Trees is open to the public. So if you don't get a chance to go Friday night, or you want to take your kids so they can see all the trees, it will be open from 10 to 2. There is a cost to get in, but it's nominal, and there will be cocoa, coffee, cookies for you to enjoy. So that is the lineup of events we have through Sunday. Oh, and the museum, sorry, can I let an audience member speak? Is that okay?
Is there any objection? I see no objection.
Okay, can you get citizen tell us, because I forgot the museum.
The museum, and I'm trying to make it famous this week.
I know.
You did.
Yeah.
You were on
So
TV.
the museum's gonna be open from, 1 to 5, or a little bit after. We have a display of vintage toys going on, and we decorated it up, and we're hoping to get some of the implements from the yard decorated, just to, go along with the implement parade.
Cool.
That's Saturday.
Yep.
Oh. And then let's talk one more thing, and, staff knows this, and this is something that I'm going to do starting in February. I'm gonna get all the stakeholders that are at all these events, all the people that put them on. And in February, I'm going to ask all of them to sit in a room and look at a calendar in December and try to figure out how we can spread all of these events over the month of December, and how we can make Sunnyside a Christmas town for a month and get the tourism dollars that Leavenworth gets and keep it in our area. So I want the public to know that this is something that I want to plan on doing, and have the city take the lead. Because every time we've tried to do stuff in the past, it's everybody's little group that knows what's going on, and not everybody is almost at tables. We need to get all these people at the table, because to be honest with you, I haven't went to the Holiday Bazaar since Rotary started doing the Lighted Implement Parade, because I'm so busy. I'd like to go to the bazaar. I'd like to be at the museum. I'd like to go to do these things, and I can't be everywhere at once, and I'm also a part of events on Friday night and all day Saturday. And honestly, I'm sure you guys feel the same way. I feel like you're just going from one thing to the next. And I think that there's a way for us to do this and have it be a whole month of fun. And we all just have to give up our weekend. We have to figure out if after 35 years of doing the parade on this day, if we can make it work another day. So it's gonna take a lot of us kind of giving a little bit of, yes, I can move something, I know I can do it, but I think we can do it as a community. And think about how much fun we can have a whole month of stuff instead of one weekend. So that's my plan. And now I'll turn it over to City President Rita. Do you have anything to report? Chief Anderson.
Just a couple things with all that information, I think I'll just add,
Oh, I forgot your chili peas.
Oh,
What I'm talking about? We were talking about way too many things.
yeah, I was just gonna add, right now, Dan B told me today that he was going out to get all. Although I still haven't seen. Either way, right now, we're on target to go ahead and do it. So, out there, I think a little bit earlier this week, because, even though our permit, I think we're gonna have chocolate, I think, for the kids. Saturday, they're still shooting. So I encourage everyone to come down.
I don't think I've been down there for that either.
Well, I'm going to that.
Mr. Fisher?
I got just one quick update. So the Sixth Street project, I don't know if you guys have heard, but on Sixth Street between Decatur and YVH, the lights are out. we called PP&L, I went to their portal, and they replied back to us quickly enough, so I called them today. We had submitted as part of the Sixth Street project to have those lights removed when we're ready to put the new lights up. They had a little bit of slack in their schedule, and decided to come out now and take all the lights down. So they're gonna go back out hopefully next week or two. So I'll talk to Elizabeth about where the kids' parade's gonna be. You'll really be able to see them bright, you know, with no street lighting, but, what we'll have to do is have them come back out, and put lights back up at the intersections in the area. Because right now, it's just a black border. Anyway, so hopefully here next week or so. Just a couple stats for you guys. Over the last 2 weeks, since the last council meeting, we had 314 incidents, 56 traffic stops, 25 physical arrests, 22 non-traffic criminal citations, 13 criminal traffic citations, 1 non-traffic infraction, and then 30. We also were awarded a grant for shields. 4 shields, our match on that $6,000, the amount from those grants, about $36,000.
Right.
I don't have too much for you. We are moving forward. We're they can come talking about it anytime. We have 2 properties that we're looking at. Homes. We're making some move, which is great. You've heard the Pacific Egg news.
Thank you, everyone. I do have one question that occurred to me. We have trees downtown, and in the past, we've had lights on them during the Christmas season. Are there gonna be lights on those trees, or are we just not gonna worry about that this year? What's the plan?
So when anyone asks you why there are no lights on the trees, we will let you know that it's because they grew into the tree, and we had to cut them out. It's not a good practice to put lights on trees and leave them year-round, and it is a huge job for our folks to go out and light trees that just stay up for a little over a month. As part of the Christmas planning, so this is another one of the things that I'll be talking about in February, we are going to look at doing our poles and putting real pretty lights and stuff around our poles, and maybe a big red bow at the top, which is a much better use of lights.
Okay.
So there will be, as part of this planning, Christmas planning stuff, it will be also, how do we light up our town? And Sinsky, who you guys know that I had quite a few emails with this last week, they have a lot of really good ideas, and one of them is called Permalight. It's where you permanently affix lights to, like, let's say the police department, and you use them all year round. So like, let's say they're celebrating breast cancer, they can turn this building pink. Or you can have it be red, white, and blue. They can do all kinds, you can celebrate any kind of holiday. We can have it turn green for St. Patrick's Day, but they're permanent lights that we can have installed on our buildings. So we want to try to do that for all of the city buildings as a start, and start getting the town lit up. And then having contests and rewards. I mean, if you give someone, $500 as a first place that we have all voted on and say, wow, that's the coolest one, trust me, they'll start doing it everywhere. So these are some of my ideas that I have coming forward. No, we aren't gonna light trees anymore.
I got that question more than once, and so maybe I better get an answer. All right, well, Council, you.
Madam Mayor, I
Madam,
think
thank you, sir.
Excuse me.
Mr. Hicks.
Yeah.
On all the dates you've listed out, are we gonna take an ad in the local paper, with a block section of just everything listed down, dates, times?
Probably would have had to do that today. What's the deadline for Wednesday paper? Tomorrow. But they can squeeze. But, actually,
I think it's
Rotary did put something in about a lot of stuff, so.
We usually get like one little blip for just the upcoming event, and 2 or 3 pass, and then another little blip about another event. I mean, just an actual list. This date, this time, this date, this time, this date, this time.
We can put something together and have it put on Come to the Sun and on our social media. That's not really very quiet.
And put it linked to the side. I'm sure they'd be,
Jackie can do it. And what time is your chili feast? That's on Friday?
Right.
Oh, okay.
But I think, like I said, this Friday though, we're also gonna have, like, planning on putting hot chocolate out.
Well, thank you for answering that question. Other business, no hands up. Other business come before us this evening. If there's no objection, we are adjourned. 7:32.
yeah, congratulations, boy, girl.
Girl.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Like her mother and grandmother.
Oh, all right.
Caitlin, my oldest